Series 3 End of Series Featurette. Now, as you've probably heard from the last episode, that they're now stuck in the Andromeda Galaxy and they're out trying to find their way home. It sounds a bit familiar, sounds a bit like Star Trek Voyager, but one thing I can guarantee, there's not going to be any cheats like Star Trek Voyager did. They're not going to come across an alien that was going to propel them using her telepathic abilities to a few 100,000 light years in advance. No, it's not going to be like that. It's not going to be a miraculous discovery that's going to save them. They're not going to find any new technology. It's going to take them about a year to get back to the hyperlight gate, because they're just going to follow the plan. There's no cheating on this. All they need to do is find the radioactive materials, which, let's be fair, they will exist on planets and moons and space rocks up in the sky, because they do in reality today. Currently you've got companies like SpaceX who are looking into off-world mining. So I'm borrowing the themes of off-world mining from reality and putting it into the story. Now, I had to write Josh out because I put another character in there, Frank, the down-to-earth, more human than grey, because he spent so much time on Earth studying humans before the Anunnaki arrived. And Elvis has now started to take on a lot more personality traits from the humans, because he keeps connecting telepathically with Henry and it leaves an influence onto his mind. So that's why Elvis is starting to sound more human, even though he's still got the weird voice. He's starting to pick up Henry's mannerisms, because they have a lot of conversations through the mind. Where do I see the Series 4 going? Well, I see Series 4 as being the final series. They will get home. Who gets home, we don't know. But what I do want is for both Henry and Chi-Chi to totally make it. I can't guarantee everyone else, but they'll make it, because there may be the odd one or two one-offs. There'll be a few mini-series after this. There won't be full series. That I guarantee. Because I don't want to end this world. I like this world that I've created. But the main story will be over. And there will be a few feature lengths or even mini-series to come. Just side stories. Either flashing back or up to current day. Who knows? But I do foresee a bit more material, because I don't want to end it fully, but the main storyline has to end. It has to. Once again, I'd like to thank everyone that's continued to listen to this podcast, and I'm really humbled to know that there are people who have stuck with the podcast from day one, and I'd like to thank you for that. Now, hopefully there won't be that much of a gap between Series 3 and Series 4. I know I've been really good with doing every series back to back. So I'm hoping that I can continue that with Series 4. And once again, from the bottom of my heart, thank you for listening and sticking with the story. I hope you enjoyed this series. And there are borrowed themes that I have had, which you probably picked up on. You know, the hyperlight jump from the Dyson Sphere, for example, I pinched at from the reimagined Battlestar Galactica. You know, they jump from point A to point B. You know, they spool up their faster than light drive, and then they instantaneously appear. And I thought, you know what could do that power-wise? Well, you'd probably need a serious amount of power to be able to do that. Hence the Dyson Sphere just picking up all that juice from the star. With a star, you've got infinite power. So yeah, why not use it to an advantage? Hence being able to jump the Dyson sphere from point A to point B, and then obviously having enough power in reserve on batteries, because why wouldn't you? They did 6 jumps off of a full charge on their battery packs, so just in case the star that they wanted to visit to then take over planets in that system, they'd have enough power to jump between systems if there was no star for them to recharge from. It works really well. I mean, it's a great concept. So not only did I borrow that concept, but I adapted it, which is the best way to do it. If you're going to borrow an idea, you should be able to adapt it to suit the story, so it's not fully, even though it's not fully original, it becomes original in a sense. Like, I keep taking it one step further, and that's what I kind of do, because let's face it, most things in sci-fi has been done already, and a lot of things have been done to death. But for example, with the hyperlight gates, that concept comes from Stargate, where you have addresses to dial to get to different places using a wormhole. Where I just took the concept of the hyperlight gate, and you don't need a hyperdrive to go in there, but by having a hyperdrive switched on once you go through that, it accelerates you even faster. And that's borrowed the idea from Stargate, but took it one step further. And that's the whole point. I've been watching sci-fi since I was a little boy, so there are bits that I've borrowed and was polite enough to adapt to make it different. And that's how things should be. Where do I see the future of this? Well, I do see a happy end for Henry and Chi-Chi, but as for Elvis and Frank, will they become heroes when the war is over and they got back to their home world? Who knows? Will the old man get to see his daughter again, who's in stasis with the Greys? I hope so, but I'm not going to guarantee it. And what about Anna? Is she going to be alive to be an auntie? Who knows? The only way to find out is to tune in to series 4, our 4th and final series. Thank you very much. Take care. Thank you for listening. Please come back next week for the next episode. If you've enjoyed this podcast, why not check out our other podcast, A Tribute to Men That Hate Their Jobs, which is a brutal but witty portrayal of working a job you hate. In this podcast, there are themes explored in which happy workers simply wouldn't understand, unless they listen to these cautionary tales from a man that lost his ideal job because of the global pandemic. Be warned that this podcast contains strong and offensive language that some listeners may not want to hear. In addition, this podcast is not recommended for younger audiences. All our podcasts are available on YouTube. Just search for the Master X Media podcast channel. In addition, you can also find our podcasts on Amazon Music, Red Circle Podcasts, Stitcher and Spotify. We also have another YouTube channel called The X Review. This is a review and reaction channel. Not only is it on YouTube, but it is also on Brand YouTube, BitChute and Rumble. You can also find us on Facebook, Gab, Twitter and Parler. All the links are in the description below.